About the writer, why do you like this interpretation of Shakespeare in Star Wars? Why is it such enjoyable as an actor to perform it?
He definitely pays attention to, like, there are some deep cuts in these. I think the other day Matt had to say a line as Anakin that was a line that he had just done from us uh, from Love's Labor's Lost, which is a deep cut of a Shakespeare play. So uh, Ian Doescher knows what he's talking about, or at least he knows how to copy and paste really well. And then in other ways, I think some other folks already said it before, but it's kind of fun to expand on these characters that like have zero lines and just like a side eye, and you can find like a Wikipedia page that's just their entire life and everything. They don't have anything in any of the movies, but they've got a novel written about them, in a expanded universe and legends. So he's able to get a lot of Shakespeare in there, and a lot of, I think Benny said, a lot of cultural references too. Like, especially in the last, like in the prequel ones, there are more pop culture references than just straight up Shakespeare references sometimes. He's done his nerd homework.
Yeah, I will say the trajectory of our shows matches really well with the trajectory of his writing, because he started out very straightforward too with everything, and now he's just throwing everything in there. Like, I think John pointed out that like every single one of Mace Windu's lines has some type of reference to a movie that Samuel L. Jackson has been in. Kevin Napor, I think in Mean Girls, every single line had a math pun in it. So he has an afterword in every single play that he transcribes, and reading those, like, I think last week, Kelsey, who's not here, it was funny, she was laughing because she played Ton Wee, and then we had the all-powerful Lama Su that Sean played. And apparently the way that he wrote those lines was, he described it as like A, B, C, D, E, D, C, B, A. So you go into the scene, and then at the exact halfway point, they literally start repeating their lines in reverse on the way out of the scene. So it's such a weird thing that you don't even think about, but then when he puts it that way, you're like, oh, shoot. What? So I think that those layers just make it so much fun to play, too.
Yeah, he flexes so hard with his writing talent. I can't even the Yoda haikus were one of my favorite things, and like Admiral Ackbar is like every line he ends with AP, like ends with like where the rhymes with trap, all leading up to it's a trap. Like, it's just so much. I got to do the Liam Neeson Taken line. That was fucking sweet. But yeah, that was great.
And I think one of the other afterwards, he had talked about, this was for Mean Girls, how he had actually assigned the major female players to major Shakespeare female characters. And so he clearly is understanding the through line that he needs to put into these translations in order for them to work and still feel like Shakespeare, while also feeling like this contemporary drama or comedy or what have you.
And he's also incredibly sassy about certain things, like having random scenes that he's putting in that are exclusively to comment on kind of nonsense about things like was it stormtroopers talking about shafts and how the Death Star has been constructed, and just little asides, and there's meta scenes with between two Jedi 1 and Jedi 2 commenting on kind of the franchise and the fan thoughts about the franchises, and it's hilarious. And yeah,
I like how you gave no context to the conversation about them talking about shafts and just kind of threw that in there about how that's a normal everyday conversation that everybody has.
I mean, the scene itself was very open-ended.
Just talking about Shaft.
What's
right
wrong with
on.
He's a bad...
Shut your mouth. So what I'd like to add is I think that it's very clear that Ian Doescher has done his homework on whatever he is referencing. And it makes, I think for me, it makes my job easier because I have in whatever lines I'm reading, the backstory of the character right there. I have the references right there that I'm making. And he has done his work, which makes it fun and sassy and so much easier for us. And even if we read through our lines before we start reading on the day of, there are still things that sneak in and surprise us when we're halfway through the line and go, oh my gosh, I didn't catch that on the first read through. So the amount of work that he's put into it is just incredible.
Yeah, he's a fan. You know, he's clearly a fan of Star Wars and Shakespeare. And we are also all fans of those things. And if you can put something in there that's going to surprise people like us who like kind of live and breathe shit all day, you know, clearly he's doing something right.
And I love that he makes it accessible. When I was growing up, I didn't really get into Shakespeare because I felt like it wasn't for me. And obviously that ship has sailed off into the distance and I love Shakespeare now. But what I appreciate is that with the pop culture references and all the little clever details he scatters about, it makes it accessible for folks who may not be into Shakespeare, may not know or understand Shakespeare, but we all love Star Wars. We've seen these things a dozen times or so, and they're deeply embedded in the cultural subconscious of society. You know, we all know what a Darth Vader looks like. We all know the Imperial March. We may not know it by name, but we're familiar with it. And then why not throw in the fact that he's referencing, oh shoot, I don't know, Do the Right Thing. You know, I had some people watch it. They're like, hey, that's the, you know, and that's such a cool moment to get people to see the light bulb go off and they make the connections and now they're into it and you've expanded their mind into something they may not have entertained before. So props.
Obviously, like, people that are watching this, if you haven't seen any of our videos yet, please look us up, watch from the beginning, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. I mean, we start very simply and then just kind of spiral out from there. So it's definitely worth watching in the original release order of Star Wars. I have to put that out there because there's people that would watch it like we got to watch it as the books were written, essentially, in this case. And then we have our Facebook page that you can follow us on too. That way you can stay up to date on everything. So it's Zounds, Zounds. So Zounds Online Productions. That way you can follow us and have a good time.